So Holger, it's the 10th anniversary of Oracle Exadata. It's been a phenomenally successful product with thousands of deployments worldwide. Customers have saved hundreds of millions of dollars deploying the system. There's very few products that have been successful over the course of 10 years. If you look at, the trajectory of various offerings, Air Jordans, iPhones, the Porsche Carrera, for example. If you think about it, Exadata is particularly strategic to Oracle, in that it is the foundation for Oracle Autonomous Database, Exadata Cloud at Customer, and of course available on premises as Exadata. If you think about that contrast to other public cloud providers, they don't particularly call out any strategic products powering their public clouds. At the same time, the infrastructure providers, they don't particularly talk about which product is the most strategic for them. They just happen to say we announced 30 or 40 products in one given day. What's your take on Exadata, its strategic importance to Oracle, and contrast that with these other vendors and their various offerings, both public cloud and on-premises?
Sure. Well, Exadata obviously is super important for Oracle. I call it like it's the engine room on what I call the chip-to-click stack, from the silicon engineered together all the way to SaaS, software as a service in the application. And all these things have to work together. And a number of those layers are powered running on Exadata machines, right? So it's the fundamental part. If you open the Oracle stack, you run over Exadata on multiple layers on this. And it's a fundamental difference to all of the providers out there. You mentioned the hardware vendors who are on the business of saying there's more boxes, boxes, boxes. And that puts a CIO, CTO in the business of having to size what they want to run for the next generation applications. With the Oracle sizing on the Exadata size, you have an advantage there. There's one brand, one machine. On the flip side, there are the hyperscalers, cloud providers, where it doesn't matter basically what you run on, because they don't want you to know, because every data center might be running something else, and they say, let's abstract it away, nothing for you to worry about. So fundamentally different value proposition.
And how that fundamentally different value proposition, the architectural identicality from on-premises to cloud to public cloud nodes with our Exacloud at Customer offerings, talk about the business advantage that provides customers being able to write once, develop once, run everywhere.
Right, so companies have to build more software. The software is eating the world. Companies have to build more software, and they don't know 100% where to run it. Legislation is changing, network speeds are changing, data residency requirements are changing, so it's never really clear where to run things. You don't know how much capacity of your data center. Take a CIO where the business decides to move something to SaaS, all of a sudden you spare capacity. Your data center is no longer cost efficient, right? So you want to move things in-house again, potentially, for a temporary time frame or longer time frame. So identicality is the important thing which gives the CIO, CTO the peace of mind by knowing that you have a provider where the cloud offering is identical to what you want on premise. So code assets, including data, can move seamlessly without you having to migrate, without you having to retest. And you see that very well with your cloud bursting capabilities, which really require things to be in sync, so you can really burst in a matter of a few seconds to the public cloud or to the private cloud.
And also, Holger, considering that when we look at Oracle Public Cloud, we look at Oracle Autonomous Database, Oracle Exadata Cloud Service, we're taking those same Exadata nodes, deploying them in the confines of the four walls of a customer data center or a third-party data center, and managing it as a service. They have that architectural identicality. How does that change when you have vendors talking about taking things from their public cloud that have never been deployed on premises, that have no commonality with what the customers are running on premises, and saying, now we're going to deploy that in your data center?
Well, it's a tall order, of course. I always say, if I was a former software engineer, right, you have to be fair to the original use case. Many of the cloud stack have never been engineered to run on premise with a customer. So Oracle did this right from the beginning, hedging kind of like the bet where the cloud's going to be and so on. So that's the big advantage right now, as obviously what I call the next generation compute plane, which needs identical tech stack capabilities on premise as in the public cloud to move exactly data as you mentioned, or to do the bursting capabilities, and that's what's been giving. But you also mentioned the other key important thing: these stacks are inherently complex, no matter who builds them. So it's very important that vendors provide those managed services, so CIO doesn't have to worry about, yes, I can have the hardware right away, I could run my applications right away, but my guys need 6 months training. So it's very important to have these managed services, and then when you operate it, to have the single pane of glass to see what is going where, what might be going wrong, where you want to manage load. So these are all key capabilities.
And last question, Holger, on this topic. The 10th anniversary of Exadata, we just introduced the new Oracle Exadata X8 models, the 8th generation of the Exadata product portfolio, obviously continuing a successful tradition of innovation. If you look at it, 8 products, 8 generations within 10 years. Last couple of years have been record years in terms of Exadata sales. It's very rare that a product at this point in its lifespan, is experiencing record sales. What's your take? Kind of the 8 generations, the record sales. What do you think is happening in the marketplace?
Well, the market has a need which nobody foresaw 2-3 years ago, that there's going to be this need for running things on-premise and in the cloud, right? This next generation computing capabilities. And that helps Oracle having foreseen kind of like that, potentially, right? Foresight by Larry, or being conservative hedging things, right? All the old guard providers have an on-premise capability and a cloud capability. Oracle is the only one having both running for them right now. Everybody else is trying to get there with some different kind of flavors.
Thank you, Holger.